In my dishonorable search for the perfect camera, some people think I'm being overly harsh on the industry, looking for flaws where there are none, as if to be trying to prolong my career, as if I would run out of things to talk about if I couldn't find the perfect camera. I have plenty to talk about. I don't know what you're talking about. So today we switch it up a notch and I tell you all the positive things about each camera brand. You think I don't have it in me? I see plenty of golden rainbows on the end of the tunnel.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So we're on the Blackmagic OG, the B-Mog, as the kids call it. It doesn't get better than that. Designed for the cinema. 16 by 9, 2 megapixels. That's all you need. Any more than you get fat. I've seen kids get fat on 8 megapixels and more. So I'm not always looking for the flaws. Every camera has their high points. It's mostly high points, actually. Canon? Frickin' try to beat that color science, huh? Beautiful skin tones. I love Canon. Best look in the business. Right out of camera. Don't even have to work afterwards. They make your life so easy. Love Canon. The menu system? So colorful. Touch screens. Anything I need to change? Boom. I love Canon so much. What's that? What is it? What are you? What? Do you uncripple cameras? That's amazing. Oh, you're so cute. Can I give you a kiss? Ow. Why? I love that Canon almost leads the industry now in slow-mo. They're creeping up there, 180 frames with autofocus. You almost can't beat that. It's amazing. Their lenses, the old L lenses, 3D pop, frickin' fidelity with color-based 3D matrix. I love Canon so much. It's why I own one. It wasn't given to me. I surely bought some pieces for it. I did. I love how great their battery life is. Probably leading the industry in some of their cameras. Some of them have that battery, and I love that. When it comes to Sony, talk about perfect camera right there. Doesn't even need updating years later. Why would you? It's already perfect. Who would ever even add to it, like with a firmware or something? You wouldn't need to. It's perfect already. Like, why mess with a good thing? Don't break what's fixed, is the saying I've heard my grandfather say. It's perfect already. That frickin' autofocus, huh? Cannot be beat to this day. Even the old cameras. Frickin' camcorders without phase detect, still amazing. Color science? It's growing on me. I'll tell you that much. Sony color science? Wow, have they ever improved? Most improved award? Anyone? Probably Sony. Frickin' right out of camera. Bake in a LUT if you want. I have time. Stabilization used to be a problem, but not now. You can just crop in there. I don't mind losing the frame. Or I just spend a couple hours, quick hours in post, stabilizing it with Catalyst Browse. Have you seen how stable that is? It's frickin' so stable. Just takes time. We all have that, right? I have time when I sleep. Probably the best lens mount in existence. So many third-party lenses. I love all the little Tamrons, and they're all so good. So much 3D pop in those lenses, I think. Love Sony. When it comes to Nikon, hello Z9, the best camera ever made. That's a professional's dream right there. It does pretty much everything you'd ever want. Definitely everything. I love it. Who needs to see themselves? I wouldn't. This feels negative already. Nikon color science, enjoyed by most people. Autofocus, right up there with the top. It's close, if not better. Frickin' ergonomics? You want to feel good? Something feeling right in the hand? That's a Nikon you're looking at. Everyone else? It's not Nikon level. I see minor amounts of zebras in those lights. I thought Nikon has some of the best stabilization. They're the only ones doing 8K 60 RAW. And I'm sure that codec is as good as everyone hopes it is. And Nikon lenses, I've heard some 3D pop stories that I wouldn't want to say here. But the pop has been real. When it comes to Fuji, if you want to remember what your dead great-grandfather was like, You start taking pictures and you're like, these look like the ones he was showing me. So nostalgic. So nostalgic neg. That Fuji look, it's a special look. And getting the look is so easy and fun. I love the dials. I use them all the time. You just turn them instead of looking at the screen. You intuitively know. I remember that this one was ISO and that one's shutter. For sure, I'd never mix them up. And you just turn. Left was higher, not lower. I would never get that backwards. I remember these dials. They're perfect. I love them. There's a certain Fuji magic where when you go film something, magical things happen for Fuji systems only. When you go with the Sony camera, not that I'm being negative about Sony, I've seen magical things happen too. It's just Fuji has a certain lure. It's a siren song. Things are lured to it, and then you film them, and the colors look beautiful. They're in focus sometimes. When it comes to Panasonic, talk about a company that never quits, huh? They just keep on getting better. They give us all the video features we'd ever want, and now we get the autofocus too, in most of the modes. I love the amount of modes that it's usable in. Who needs slow motion autofocus? I feel negativity in it's in my left arm. Personally, when I shoot slow motion, I prefer to be in manual focus because everything's moving so slow, it's easier to manually focus. Things are like 180 frames per second. It's like, okay, you can't track a squirrel moving in 180 frames? Come on. Just so slow, it's like so easy. They move like that in real time. Now, when I said Nikon had good stay, they do, but Panasonic even better. Not that Nikon's bad, they're amazing. Panasonic is amazing. They're both so good, so stable. Wow, so many lenses to choose from. Best lenses, right? The Leica lenses. Just because you didn't make enough money, that's not a negative thing. You should have had a better job. You were taught the wrong things. How come you didn't deliver newspapers to really rich people and ask for tips? But the bottom line here, Panasonic color science, decent. Stabe, amazing. Autofocus, reliable. Price, low. Lenses, some. That's a system I wouldn't mind being in right now. And when it comes to Olympus, now known as OM system by OMDS, making the OM1, what negative could you even say? The company's not known for having like scandals or anything with strange money laundering schemes. Well, it's a myth. They're just making stuff. Well, cameras mostly. Good cameras at that. 4K 60p? 240p and HD? You kidding me? I love that you can just manually focus in those modes. The HD. And it looks good, so sharp. I love that you decided how sharp I could make it. I feel negative. The Olympus look is second to none. Stabe, right up there with Pennyboy and Nikon and Sony and Panasonic. Nikon. So good. That autofocus, it was good in the EM1 III. Why wouldn't it be as good in the OM1? Probably is. I think it is. Love those tiny lenses. 75 to 300? Frickin' tiny thing. And Olympus makes the best sushi of any of the other camera companies. Which other camera companies also know how to make sushi? You go there in the showroom, you're like, OM1, that looks good. Is that a salmon plate? Oh, I'm vegan though. You have vegan options. Wow. Avocado, blueberry? That's unique. They're so good at rolling the sushi. So stable. I think all camera companies are so good. They're so unique, so different from each other. They're definitely not owned by the same company. Mitsubishi owns a tiny stock. They have no say. Sure, they own it in each company is suspicious at best, but they work together. And I love each one. If your current camera suddenly burst into flames and you were forced to shop at a 1990s only store to run your entire YouTube channel or movie career, I think we'd all be just fine, wouldn't we? Because all cameras are great. Doesn't matter when they were made or what the specs were. It's the journey of turning the camera on and pressing the record button. The GH6 doesn't delay the record when you press it. You wouldn't have to wait 2 seconds. That's just telling you, press it earlier. Now, and then look. Oh, there's something, and then it's ready. I love that. I'm going to leave. Thank you, camera companies. Never improve. You don't need to. You're already perfect. All of you. I love you. Are you buying a Camera Conspiracies t-shirt? Where's my firmware update? Subscribe for more when I'm saying it.